What's going on, guys? Back with another video. As you can tell by the title, I'm just going to be covering the state of play that just happened this past Thursday, February 12th. I've been seeing a lot of people talking about it, giving their opinions. I just want to throw my hat into the ring. So bottom line up front, I'm going to give the state of play a B minus. Okay? There were some titles that I was hoping to see based on rumors, and I must admit that played a lot into my opinion, but all in all, I was excited seeing some of the games that were shown. I won't go over every game we saw, but I do want to highlight my 5 favorite games that were shown. So let me know in the comments what you guys think about the state of play. So as you can see with the background gameplay, the first game that I was very impressed with was Tides of Annihilation. And it seems like we're in a resurgence for hack and slash games, and this one seems to be adding to the roster. The initial showing of this game was great. The art style, character and enemy designs, and the atmosphere all looked amazing. There was a combat demo that was released the day after, so the 13th, that's what I have playing in the background, and that just added to my excitement. The similarities between this game and Final Fantasy 16 are kind of apparent with the way that you switch your movesets based on the champion-esque characters in the top left corner of the screen. The combat is fluid and flashy, the magic looks colorful and vibrant, and I think that there's a lot going for this game. Sadly, I couldn't find a release date, but I'll be sure to add it to my wish list and keep my ear to the ground for those details. The second game that made my top 5 is a first-person shooter, boomer shooter, called Metal Eden, and I love that genre so much. But it too had a gameplay showcase on the 13th, and that's what I have in the background here. So with that being said, it doesn't look to revolutionize anything, it just looks like another solid entry in the genre, which I'm all for. The guns sound punchy and look cool, the abilities look fun, and give the idea of chaining them together for cool combos. The story seems generic, but serviceable, and the world, along with the character models and enemy models, look great. Unlike Tides of Annihilation, this is coming to us relatively soon, as the release date was listed to be in May.
Third wave incoming.
Now on to game 3 of 5 with Hell Is Us, which happened to be more of an update than anything, as it was shown to us last year, even giving us a deep dive with the devs about 4 months ago, which is the gameplay and footage that I have in the background. The main thing that caught my attention with this game was the setting. It takes place in a fictional war-torn country named Hadia that looks depressing and desolate. The aforementioned deep dive locked me in with the developers going over design philosophy and talking about a less handheld experience, rewarding the risky and curious player over the safe player. The combat looks decent, the enemies look interesting, and the story is intriguing, with the main character returning home to help his family and region deal with a cataclysmic event named the Calamity. This one comes out a little bit later in the year on September 4th, but with the vibes that it's giving me, I'm all for it, and I can't wait to see what this game has to offer.
So by now, you've seen a lot of what I guess is like exploration and looking around and talking to people and doing puzzles and all that kind of sweet stuff. But if you've seen the trailer, you of course notice that there's another big aspect to the game, which is third-person melee combat. So we like to say that the game is 50% exploration and 50% combat. The game is not at all only about combat, and it's definitely not at all just walking around and figuring stuff out. It's the combination of both, and we also think that the way that we've combined them is quite refreshing and quite unique in Hell Is Us. So, like I said, combat is an integral part of the game. I do want to emphasize now that we're not a Souls-like game. The game is a lot more mid-core. It's have fun, get in it, and hack and slash. It doesn't mean it's easy. It's not overly hard. There's a learning curve. There's subtleties. There's little things that we've invented just for the flair and the flavor of Hell Is Us. It's very crunchy. I think the friction is pretty good, and I hope you'll enjoy it. So there's a wide variety of enemies in the game. So we have kind of like the more common enemy type, which we call the Hollow Walker. So it's these kind of humanoid, bipedal, white enemies that you can...
The fourth game is The Midnight Walk, which has an amazing art style, and it reminds me of Tim Burton's The Nightmare Before Christmas. The monsters look scary and unnerving, the environments look unsettling, and even the friendly characters look disturbing. This story seems to be essentially an escort mission, which I'm not the biggest fan of, but we have to see how the mechanics of the game will play out. All we know is that the use of light and fire will be prevalent and important. I can't wait to see how this one turns out, as the release date is very soon, May 4th. Now, the fifth and final game genuinely looked interesting, but in a contradictory way to the rest of the list, I'm still skeptical about it, as the developer, Builder Rocket Boy, is in pursuit of making a transcendent game like Roblox, and this could just be a supporting endeavor, which I wouldn't be thrilled about, but I'm still curious to see how it turns out. Other question marks surrounding this game includes if this game is an open world or a mission-based game, will there be RPG elements, because as we saw in the gameplay, he used a drone-like ability, which I don't know if that's just like for the mission or if it's like a skill tree or whatever. I wonder if we saw something close to the final build, because the animations looked a little stiff. But other than those questions, it looks like a fun game, and it struck all the right chords to pique my interest. The team has people from GTA games, the main character is the actor from Mafia 3, and the story and dialogue, for whatever reason, was reminding me of Sleeping Dogs. Don't know why. The cover system looks competent, and I love cover-based shooters, so we're getting this game this summer, and I still want to see and hear more from it, but I can't wait to see what this ends up being.
Can. Do not lose her! Tires are out. Proceeding on foot. I'm coming to you now. The search and rescue bots. They're malfunctioning. They're attacking us.
Now that I've gone over the games that we got to see, I thought it would be kind of fun to join the angry mob and list the games that I thought that we were going to see. I wanted to see Death Stranding 2. I know Kojima announced an event later this year where he'd share more about Death Stranding 2. but at least every other week I find myself either thinking about or watching the Death Stranding 2 trailer because it was the coolest thing at that State of Play last January. The second game I really wanted to see was Intergalactic. Now I know that we really don't even have a year for this game, so I can openly admit that this was super naive, but it looked so cool and I want to see more from it. Now, arguably the most disappointing thing that we didn't get to see was anything Parasite Eve related. We may be in the slower part of the survival horror renaissance, but it's still a renaissance nonetheless. And with that being said, there was a random leak going around saying that something Parasite Eve related will be happening at the State of Play, and I would have been happy about anything. A CGI trailer announcing a remake, a HD collection, remaster, in the vein of like Soul Reaver and Metal Gear Solid Master Collection, even an anime retelling the story. I fell for this leak because Sony randomly made the first Dino Crisis game available on the PlayStation Store, which felt like a hint at something bigger. I mentioned those things to say that revivals have been happening that people would never have thought would have happened, and they've been begging for it, and I was hoping that Parasite Eve would have been in that category. Wrapping it up, I think that there are very bitter people who want to see a specific thing at the State of Play, and because they didn't, they labeled the State of Play as bad. I am not one of those people. The show was good at best and decent at worst. Although there wasn't much from the first party presence, the third party games that were shown hit the mark. As always, I'm excited to see new games coming, and I hope you are too. Thank you if you made it this far, and don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.
Run! Watch out! Darn it. The Scarlet Watchers are making this place even more unstable. See that? Want a shot? Might be a way out. Let's go. Britannia. Long time no see. Oh no, not again. Ugh.